Okay, so I think we are good to go. I'm going to do a quick kickoff just for everyone and just welcome everyone. So just wanted to welcome you all to the Cybersource Empower Hackathon Partner All Hands. First off, just wanted to say thank you to everyone for being a part of this amazing journey with us and building better together. You have all been here from the very beginning, and we're really just truly grateful and appreciative of all your continual support and engagement on this ongoing program, of not only making a difference here in our industry, but in our own communities as well. So it's just been a really phenomenal year with some really great stories and outcomes, and we couldn't be doing any of this without all of you. So thank you from not only myself and the rest of the Cybersource and Visa family as well for being a part of this cause with us. A few quick updates on the launch of the hack. It did actually go live at the beginning of August here, and the actual hack will run through mid-October. So we currently have our executive judging day scheduled for October 25th. It's going to actually occur between 1 to 4 Mountain Standard Time, where we'll have Cybersource and Visa executives that are going to be judging the final projects. We're going to have more logistics and details around judging day in September to come for all of you, but that's going to come here in the next couple of months or so. Right now on the judging panel, we do have Carly Jakes, who's our GM of Cybersource, Kim Lawrence, who is head of North America, and then Brian McManus, who is head of product here at Cybersource, Michelle Herron, who is head of marketing here at Cybersource, and then also Kai Sheffield, who is head of crypto at Visa. Those will be the 5 executives that are judging the final projects. Of course, all of the partners that are on the call today, we will have, obviously an opportunity for you guys to submit mentors or people from your organizations that you'd like to have represented your company specifically to judge the hackathon with us as well. And so for the main objectives that we want to cover off on today, so number 1 being details around the hackathon, the objectives, the goals, criteria, and our dedicated continuation of this entire program from beginning to end. As many of you guys know, this started at the international case competition, and a lot of this also dovetails into some of our inclusion and diversity efforts as well. So this is going to be a continual effort that Cybersource and Visa continue to work on year over year. And then, of course, we invite all of our partners here on the call today to continue to be a part of that journey with us at whatever capacity that you guys are able to support us in. Looks like there's somebody who is trying to get in. And then secondarily, also want to go over marketing and promotions and engagement through your communities, and how you can help increase engagement and participation for the hack. And then I'm going to hand it over to Patrick from Be My App, which is our developer agency that's helping us conduct the hack. He's going to go over details around your partner page, what to provide, your format, context, and any additional prizes, promotions, or support that you'd like to offer the community, and what we need from you. And then we're also going to go through mentorship opportunities within your various organizations, and if there's any interest behind providing mentors to support the hackathon, and engagement in terms of how we want to manage. And then lastly, we also want to go through partnership panel and mentorship hours to provide details on how your solution works. And so that will be another thing that we'll go through there. And then we're going to open the last part of this call to Q&A and just open discussion to answer any questions that you guys may have regarding. So just getting into some quick details around the hackathon itself. So we do, sorry, we've got people coming in still. So details around the hackathon itself, we do encourage everyone to check out the most recent Cybersource blog in terms of our commitment to inclusion and diversity. And I did send this out last week to most of you guys here on the call to take a look, but I'll actually send this out again just for follow-up. But it is currently on our blog right now in terms of just the efforts around what we're doing to address underrepresentation across the board. Sorry, still trying to let people in. So one of the things that Cybersource has committed to in terms of a priority here at the company is setting this as a foundation and ingraining it into the way that we do business here at Cybersource. And so we hope that the impact that we're going to have here is us coming together with all of you to make a difference in the industry and to truly help start beginning to move the needle and helping to set a new foundation of building better together. A few of our core objectives that we wanted to address as a part of the hack itself in terms of what the objectives are is number one, addressing underrepresentation in the developer community. And so obviously, that's a primary goal for us. Secondarily, building a diverse and inclusive environment for our collective companies at every level. Third, ensuring commerce solutions, including all of ours together in our partner network here, are built by everyone for everyone. And then fourth, supporting Black-owned businesses that have been the most impacted from the pandemic. As many of you know, Black businesses experienced the most acute decline with a 41% drop during the pandemic year over year. So it is a community that we really want to place a lot of emphasis on to be able to help rebuild. And so a lot of the causality behind the hackathon and historically, hackathons in general, were always to support a cause. And then this is definitely something that we want to focus on across the board, including, supporting those Black communities specifically. And then lastly, most importantly, is building better together, which is the campaign theme and effort and the foundation of what we want to build into the foundation of the Cybersource business. And then hopefully together with all of you making that impact in our industry as well. So, and then next, I also encourage everyone to check out our diversity and development page, where all of the conversations that we have had over the last year and earlier in the year, where I think there's probably several of you guys who where your voices have been represented, are coming together on this page here. And so I will send this out as well, but it is our Building Better Together page in terms of where all of these stories have come together. And these are actually going to run throughout the rest of the year. And we're going to be releasing a new video every 2 weeks for the rest of the year addressing one of these core topics that we discussed in interviews that many of you guys participated in or have representatives from each of your companies and talent from each of your companies that were a part of these conversations that we put together. Lastly, of course, our hackathon page here is the landing page that explains the cause, where we are supporting our Black-owned businesses. And so some of you may be aware of Visa's 6 Cities Revitalization Initiative that we're supporting that's focused on enabling Black-owned businesses primarily in Atlanta, Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, and Washington, D.C. that have been the most impacted in these local communities throughout the pandemic and throughout everything else that we've been through over the last couple of years. And so we're actually going to have specific additional cash prize pools in each of those cities for projects that are focused on helping to rebuild Black women-owned businesses in these communities. But I also encourage all the partners on the call here to check out the registration page and the hack page itself here in terms of like what we're actually doing to support those 6 communities. And then there are several Visa communications that are going out. There's going to be a press release mentioning the hackathon. And then there's also, like I mentioned, a bi-weekly social post that's going to be going out to market and promote each one of these conversations that are happening on a bi-weekly basis. And so some of you may have seen your companies already be tagged in some of those conversations. There is also a TechCrunch article that's being published here within the next couple weeks that's going to promote the hackathon. It's also going to promote the details behind the program and how our industry can get more involved. And then some of you, again, have probably seen some of these posts go out and have been tagged in some of those posts that are not only promoting the diversity and development stories, but we do encourage everyone, especially with our marketing teams across the board, to help us amplify these stories wherever you can and wherever possible. And so we will continue to tag everyone and all of our partners here in every post that we make to make it easy to reshare via your social channels. And we would just greatly appreciate any efforts that you guys have to reshare your stories and promote the hackathon and cause that we're all working on together here to support. So please reach out to me specifically if you have any questions regarding engagement, marketing, or promotional efforts regarding the hackathon. And then now I'm going to hand it over to Patrick to get into the rest of the details behind your involvement. Over to you, Patrick. Oh, Patrick, you're on mute.
Nope, I'm on mute. That's only the 10th time I've done that today. No worries. Hi, I'm Patrick Bedina. I'm with a company called Be My App. And we have worked with Visa Developer and Cybersource and Authorize.net over a number of years now to do developer advocacy and developer relations. We champion community formats, hackathons, calls for code, virtual conferences. So I've been tag teaming it with Gaurav and Sean on the Cybersource while they get a lot of the internal resources and guidance on product and theme of this campaign. And I couple that with our virtual platform, which I run, and doing the outreach or a lot of the outreach and team formation and facilitating the hackathon. So I guess the biggest takeaway from this call after we conclude is going to be, what is your level of involvement is something that everyone should ask themselves. What can you support? And if you're not the person to provide the support on this call, you're going to champion the event for someone else who's providing developer support. Who is that person, and how can we get their commitment level in terms of hours available on the platform or a webinar hosted to go over your particular tools or integration suite at your company. So that's basically the ask. I'm going to forward a email to Sean that has two things, one of which is this handy dandy, there we go, community toolkit that's just for easy promotional materials. If at the very least, if it's something that you're just super busy and don't have the manpower to support the event from a dev perspective, and you're just kind of handing over resources, this promoting is really going to help the turnout and us to build large teams for this event. So anything that you can do through any of your networks would be greatly appreciated. And we've got a pretty extensive 2-pager here that helps give you some copy-paste material to forward on. So I'll be sending that to Sean, and then also just some next steps, action items for your consideration after you have identified what resources and how much you can devote to this hackathon. With that being said, I will hop over to my handy dandy guide here. And then from there, we're going to go into the website really quick and the platform more specifically. And then we'll talk about, for those of you who can bring mentor support, we can build out basically like booths on the hackathon platform that we are hoping to release no later than a few days before the hack starts, so that the users can easily navigate all the partner integrations and find resources according to all of you great partners. So we are still determining a few of these links. It's a little bit early. Typically, we don't send out the Slack channel, for example, until a week before. We still need to get dates for the tech workshops because we need to make commitments from Cybes, but also on, if any of you are wanting to do a quick joint webinar where we can get a couple of groups on, 2 or 3 total webinars. We need to solidify those dates, and this is the first step towards seeing who would be available to do that. We usually do a how to give a great pitch workshop where I give the typical hackathon tips on how to build a project and how to best market that project according to the judges and the timeline. I'll include that link when that's ready. The project submission is the platform, but I'll reinforce what tab is where all the platform projects are hosted once we turn that feature on at the project submission date. And then the survey as well, I'll hand that off to you once we get that created here in the next week, so that you can see how we're, how we're going to be wrapping up the event, and we'll have a placeholder question to have people mark what tools or partners that they identified as something that they had interest in or used. So I think Sean did a great job of introducing the challenge overview overall. The one thing that I wanted to point out here is you're, as a mentor or sort of a partner, integrated partner for this event, the support for the tech is one thing, but also the idea support and the ideation and brainstorming is a huge intangible that is just as important, I think, as a successful execution, especially since the terms and conditions is pretty equally balanced between use case scenario and actual execution and technical savvy for the project. So one thing I did want to call out here is if you happen to have any insight or knowledge into this particular use case by city, like Sean mentioned, we are giving away a challenge bonus, basically of $1,000 per city on top of the first, second, and third place prizes to widen the prize pool by an extra, 6 prizes, but also to help people choose a region that they identify with or that's new to them and they want to do research on and find out, okay, how could I custom make this for a business in, let's say, Miami versus a solution that would be used in the DC area. So if you have any insight, if you come from that local space, if you're integrated in any sort of like e-commerce or small business groups that also have a BIPOC focus or support initiative, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask how you could get involved, be a part of maybe some pitch sessions or feedback with the teams once we get to that stage, or post your own content if that applies about these types of use cases. Because we're, I think, going to have to do the most heavy lifting around making sure that we have useful solutions, since all of you, including Cybersource and all of you partners, have really great documentation and tutorials already. Hopefully that's the easy part, is the tech integration. The tough part is going to be how can we get something viable for small businesses to use right away, given the circumstances of BIPOC and Black women-owned businesses. So basically, the online platform is where all of this is happening, including our Slack channel. At the most, having, if you wanted to be a hackathon mentor representing your integration, having a few time slots available for booking on our platform. There's a calendar function that I'll go over in a bit. Setting aside maybe 4 appointments of 30 minutes per week or something like that, so that some people could book you, is, I would say, the minimum for a number of weeks. It does seem like a lot, but if you were able to share that with somebody, you might be able to do handoffs and lighten the load. Some mentors prefer to do more and just put it all on a day where they know they're going to be available. Some people will do like six appointments, so 3-hour block at the end of their Friday, because they're already kind of doing an office hour thing. And keep in mind too that, like, to justify the amount of time with interfacing with these participants, first, not all of the slots will get used. It's more of just an availability, and the more you make yourself available, the easier it will be for teams to find an available slot. Not necessarily that all of those slots are going to get taken. And second, these are potential, customer interfacing conversations, and potential qualified leads as well is one benefit of these, right? So if we've got these e-commerce consultants or anything like that, or you're looking to hire, where you're looking for people out of university who are building solutions that are, really similar, they're getting hands-on experience either way with your integrations. So it is a really great touch base to have to get your pulse on these users that would be using your technology. We will also be giving over contact info of people who wish to be contacted based on, using your integration. So for those users that have gotten, used your integrations, just with Sean's approval, I think we should be able to give you the team leader contact if we can confirm they did use your integration, so that you could follow up with them. And I believe that's covered in the terms and conditions privacy policy. And then the webinars, again, I'm waiting to schedule them to see who all is comfortable with that format, being on a live webinar to provide some support for their integration. And again, it doesn't have to be just tech. It could also be at a more business use case or idea-based scenario. We can send invites to anybody that you give to Sean. I think the easiest way to do this, Sean, would be if we started a shareable dashboard, you know, a live spreadsheet that we could give out to everybody. And, or actually, no, probably a form would be even better that links to a dashboard. So we would just ask for a first name, last name, and the email and your company. You would fill that out so that we can send you an invite to the platform and as a mentor. And then this is basically all you need to submit. It's a very easy profile creation process. And then you get hosted on the mentor page so that people can see your face and see if you have available bookings. But that's the registration process is even shorter than the participant sign up. So we would just need to know if you're providing mentors, who of those mentors, you know, who are those contacts so that we could give them an invite to the platform. Overall, I spoke earlier about how we're looking for basically two types of mentors: the technology mentors that give support, since you will know your integrations best. You know, if you're planning on having some trying to get usage around your integration, I'll tell you the number one way to try to reinforce usage of your technology is going to be presence and FaceTime with the participants as much as you can support. But also, you know, we won't be able to provide troubleshooting or anything like that for your integrations. And it is a long challenge, around 6 weeks. So we want to make sure that we at least have a place to turn people over to if there's a troubleshooting need. But then the business mentors are really just about checking ideas, especially each team kind of has its own de facto product manager or like team leader. And just checking in with them is something that is important to make sure that you can help them adjust before it's too late and pivot if needed, do a kind of a crash test, walk through a pitch with them. For those of you who become mentors for this event and we get invited to the platform, at some time we will most likely be splitting up some teams, probably closer to the halfway mark of the competition, and assigning them to some mentors that we think would match, you know, their use case matches where you're from, or they're using your integration, or, you know, et cetera, and just saying, hey, here's a couple team leaders. I might just shoot them an email just to, you know, tap them on the shoulder and remind them that you're happy to answer any questions offline or hop on a call with them and see how they're doing. That's proven pretty effective because the teams are usually really involved in their own project and trying to work virtually. It's not always ideal for them to come to you, or sometimes they just don't remember to check into mentor support, or they're confused about who they need to reach out to on some level. So making it easy for them is something that we try to help you achieve. And promoting your tech really falls overlapping 4 different categories, right? So inspiring the participants, not only inspiring them to use technology that you're trying to evangelize, but really just helping them see the challenge for what it is and promote this initiative through good solutions, challenge their ideas. So respectfully criticize, especially if you think that they're going to hit a roadblock, or they're not using something properly, or they're not, you know, really seeing the forest for the trees and getting tied up in an idea that's really not going where they think it is. So I have a funny story that I always share at this part. This was a Visa hackathon, and it was about building communities back after disasters. And there was 2 college, like they were like freshmen in college that barely met the age limit for the hackathon, and they had come up with this idea where, using some solutions, some e-commerce solutions, they said, well, we're going to build this basically kind of like a GoFundMe for small businesses in a community that's been hit by disasters. And the way it works is everybody pays into it. That's part of the community. And then if they need some of the money, then they withdraw it. And so I was like, okay, well, this sounds like it could be troubling. And I'm giving the mentors a look like I'm really glad that we walked over to this table and asked them what they're working on. And so as we pushed a little bit more, and they're explaining how the business model works, and we're asking, what if the funds don't cover, what needs to be withdrawn? How are you going to manage that? And at the end, one of the mentors finally goes, so I don't know how to put this slightly, and don't take this personally, but I think you've just described a Ponzi scheme. And so had we not reached out to that team, they were so lost in what they thought was a great idea, that they, saved themselves some embarrassment going on stage by quickly being like, okay, well, with what we've built, how could we change this? And instead of focusing on the funding, they focused on community support through shared experiences and turned it into more like a social media for businesses type of thing, which is still pretty cool, and was a good way to kind of salvage what they had. That's like a prime example of how we think that because they're developers and they're working on these solutions, that they're going to come away with something that totally makes sense 100% without us checking in. And that's definitely not always the case, because they're going to be so focused sometimes on the technology that the idea itself might not get as much testing. And that's where we stand in. So that's where you share your experiences, your expertise, and your knowledge about the company, but also anything you can lend to the challenge. And of course, answer questions, be proactive and approachable. I like this quote a lot. It says, my mentor said, let's go do it, not you go do it. How powerful it is when somebody says, let's. So that's exactly what we're trying to do, especially because this is a virtual hackathon, and we're not able to just, crack a soda and go walk around to each of the tables and check in like the normal in-person hackathon experience. It can feel very isolating, even when you're on a team, to build solutions, and that feeling of needing the validation, and wondering if when you submit it, what's even going to happen, and does it even make sense? What if that we just try to do the best that we can at being approachable and making this feel like as real as an in-person thing, by providing our expertise and making this a let's go code instead of a you go code, and submit and see if you won. Oops. Here's some platform tips. I'm not going to get too much into the platform tips and onboarding. I'm going to see who is getting onto the platform first and who you submit as mentors or points of contact, if that's something you're interested in. And then I'll come back to all the nitty gritty. We'll probably want to have a follow-up call a week from now. I can get that together with Sean scheduling wise, or we could keep the same time slot like a week or two from now and help you onboard to the platform. So I don't think it makes too much sense to do this right now. But during, from end to end, introducing yourself. If there's a team that's on the list of teams that we give you that haven't really checked in, share questions, give them honest feedback, share anything that can help, any insights that you have from where you're working. Again, feel free to give warnings and disagree in a constructive way. And, at the end of the day, if there's a disagreement, you've done all you can, and you've at least said your piece. But also feel free to come back to the team and let them know, hey, I gave some advice. I don't know if they're gonna, take any convincing, but this is how I feel about their project. What do you think? Because I like to stay on top of that type of dialogue. Like I said, we will help you with visiting each team regularly by giving a list of teams that either haven't booked anything on the platform, maybe I haven't heard from in the email or Slack, and just share contact lists so that you can feel like you can reach out to somebody without having to really search around a bunch on the platform for somebody. Also, one of the biggest things for mentors is helping find similar projects and making sure that there's not any head-on crashes towards the end of this thing. Obviously, because everybody's working in silos, teams might not even know until the end that they created something totally exactly the same, especially since we're all leveraging similar tools, and everything is offered up to each team equally. So this is another big part. And I mean, hopefully it would be obvious. I'm sure everybody would offer that feedback, that, hey, I saw somebody that was doing something really similar. Why don't you find what's your niche or what sets you apart? You got to really make sure that you define that or change your idea and pivot, because then you're just going to be neck and neck with the same solution. I've included my contact here that you could have, but I'll forward this around the time where we do the platform onboarding with anybody who's interested in being a mentor as well. Very quickly, I'll just go through the hackathon page. So empowerhackathon.bemyapp.com is our marketing and landing page, where it's got the kind of who should participate. The prizes are listed, those city prizes. The judging criteria is here. It's weighted a little heavier towards innovation, value, and impact versus implementation. So like I was saying earlier, making sure that the idea is sound and that it's feasible is slightly outweighing, well, not slightly, it's times 4 times outweighing the implementation part, right? So even if they don't totally nail the technical execution, if the way that they've architected and mocked up a project could save the day if something had a bug or wasn't working quite right. The agenda for the end-to-end is also here of the event. And we've got some resources here. We would love to not only have your resources on the platform, but you can see a lot of you have already been listed as partners here. If you're missing from this website and you want to get involved, awesome, let Sean know. Hand over a logo and any basic general link to a developer center or tutorial guide center, and we can link you up. But also on the platform itself, we do have, oh gosh. Yes, we also do have a resources tab itself, so we can add resources, but the best place to do the resources is going to be once we turn on the partner feature. And I'll just reiterate and show again. Oh gosh. Hold on 1 second. I know Sean linked it in this invite. I just accidentally closed it out. There we go. Your page itself. So we will invite you to create a page and just house your resources. And if you give us videos that are tutorial videos, we can also house those on your page like so. And you can be listed as the team on your actual partners page. The nice thing is is that this is editable either via text editor. So you can just do plain text or paste over HTML. Or what I recommend is going through Canva or Photoshop or whatever marketing material creation center that you use, and just creating a PNG and then just adding the PNG here in the text editor. And that way you just have something a little bit more custom. And then you'll have your resources below. And there's also another resources center where you can just provide plain links with an image next to it at the bottom. And then from that partners page, you'll have all of those logos listed directly on the platform. So that'll be the easiest place for people to book you for calls, to see your videos, promoted videos, and learn about your integrations. And that comes with providing a mentor on the platform. But at the very least, we can list your resource. It's just that if we don't have a mentor on the platform, you have a lower chance of having somebody engage with your page because there's nobody to follow up with. So they might click on some links and do self-service, but they tend to gravitate towards knowing that they have support through the event. So that's it in a nutshell. I believe I've covered just about anything, and I think we're right on time to make sure that we have time for questions. So I'm happy to turn it over to anyone that has questions or thoughts, feedback for Sean or myself.
Looks great, you two. Way to put this together.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I should point out that we're really not asking anyone to reinvent the wheel. For everyone who's on the call, this is really as much or as little as you want to be involved. Obviously, Cybersource is sponsoring the platform. And so, it is open to all of you to promote your integrations as much or as little as you'd like based off whatever bandwidth or resources that you guys have. If you do already have pre-materials in terms of like videos, assets, any developer documentation would be greatly helpful for us to have on here. And then I think if there is anything that has already been developed, please plan on using that and really not asking anyone to reinvent anything. So I think if it's just something that you already have, that would be great. Or even instructions on plugins, sample apps on GitHub, or just any documentation across the board, I think would be helpful for us to include on the page.
Yeah, that's all great. This is Andrea from Click-a-Tell. So I imagine you're going to be giving the PowerPoint presentation to us just so we can get all the information in writing, because I'm championing others on my team to participate, but I'm bringing the information to them. So it'd be great to have something to reference.
Definitely. Sure. Yeah. I'll tighten up the areas that are missing links if I have anything to add here within the next day. But most likely we'll just have to send you an update with any links that are missing or like times or dates. And then we can work offline to figure out who wants to own a live webinar. We can support a couple of them, and we would typically try to group you together with a similar e-commerce solution, a not similar e-commerce solution, so that we mix it up a little bit and not just have a bunch of like similar competing tools on the same call. Rather, we would have like it staggered with maybe three 15-minute sessions for a 45-minute webinar, do a couple of those throughout the hackathon. And we want to load that up to as close as the 10-day from the beginning. So September 10th or 11th, have that wrapped up, because we want to have all of that content up early enough to have people have enough time to make a decision on using your integration or going with something else, and then proceeding to focus on creating during the hackathon. But like I said, I will send out not only that, but the partner toolkit will be helpful for you to have some copy, and just some follow-up action items to send to Sean that she can forward to you, so that we can get started on having like a more formal onboarding of the platform and walking around and seeing what it entails to, create your profile, get booked, essentially.
Great.
Yeah. And I think if there's anything that you guys want to get creative with, obviously, the platform is open to your guys' discretion. So if you want to, offer an additional prize pool, or if there's a promotion that you want to run, like, getting 3 months of your platform fees waived, or like a year of platform fees waived if the integration is leveraged, etc. Sky's kind of the limit in terms of what we provide. And so I think if there is something that you guys want to provide, or if there is interest of like providing something for the community, just reach out to myself, and then we can get that integrated as well for you as well. So that's open. Definitely no pressure there, but I think, this is a community-based project, and so anything that you guys would like to contribute or make it kind of your own or add your own twist to it, we're happy to support that, so just let us know. I know we've got Gaurav and Sean Matthew on the team as well, who oversee our partner integrations, and so I think they're here as well for any direct outreach. And then I see Brian McManus just logged on as well, who's our head of product. And so we do have our team here directly to support if you guys have any questions in regards to integrations or product. And so we will be here to support throughout the hack as well. And then if there are any product-based questions, I will redirect you guys over to our product team. We do have mentors as well, I see on our side, that will be supporting the hackathon throughout. And so Cybes does have about 5 mentors that will be supporting the hackathon in conjunction with the rest of the team here. And so any of us are available to answer any questions as you kind of go along and build. And then of course, I'll be your day-to-day contact in terms of the actual build for the hackathon itself. Any other questions, technical or non-marketing related? regarding your pages, regarding implementation, anything that Patrick went through that we can help address? I guess we were clear as mud, Patrick.
I guess so. I can't remember if I've done this before or not. I think this might have been my first time, maybe. No, I've learned that it's a lot up front, and then the questions come later, of course. So please don't hesitate to reach out, to me directly, and then CC Sean if you've got specific hackathon questions. That's what I'm here for. So you'll have my contact in that slide, and I'm happy to be here for support.
Yeah, and then the last thing I want to mention is this will be a continual evolution of the I&D program that we started at the beginning of the year. So I know there's a lot of partners on the call who were a part of that actual interview process that where we had your stories and your voices represented on the diversity and development page. And so some of you were also a part of the international case competition that occurred back in April. Some of the students that won in that competition are actually carrying their cases over to the hackathon, and they'll be paired with an industry developer to actually bring their case to life, which includes many of our partner integrations that you guys are here on the call. And so we're looking forward to bringing some of those cases to life with the students and helping to see that through on behalf of the merchant that we supported from the case competition. And then this year, we're obviously focused on our Black communities. Next year, we're actually going to extend this and open it up to other diverse communities that are underrepresented as well. So it is a year-over-year program that we are planning on building upon, and it has gotten quite a bit of traction through internal visa and then also externally as well. And so we will be promoting the TechCrunch article that goes out in a couple of weeks that kind of talks about the collective program of what we're doing and trying to rebuild better together. And then everybody on the call, obviously, we'd love to keep you guys within this program. If there's interest in bandwidth and availability, you guys are all welcome to participate with us in as much of capacity or as little as you're available and willing. And then I will be helping to facilitate that over the coming year and then keeping you guys posted on the various opportunities that there are to get involved. And we hope that you guys will continue your journey with us because it's been a really great process and a really great year. And the hope is that we can continue making a difference within our industry together. Any last minute questions? Okay, great. So I guess silence is an indicator that we've got everything covered. So what we'll do is this is recorded. I'll send out the recording and then we'll collect the additional information from Patrick with the deck, anything outstanding, all of our corresponding links. And then just let myself or Patrick know if you guys have any outstanding questions, and then we'll look forward to just working really closely with everyone here over the next few months into the hack.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye.